Mental strength. The most formidable individuals are not those who make the most noise. They're the ones who exhibit profound calm when everyone around them is succumbing to panic. You have encountered such a person. They enter a chaotic situation and somehow instill a sense of order. They absorb criticism without so much as a wince. They make monumental decisions appear simple. It is easy to assume such people are simply born with this quality. The truth is that mental strength is not about being tough. It is about being anti-fragile. It is not characterized by the absence of fear, but by the practice of engaging with fear until it transforms from an adversary into a partner. The desire for mental fortitude is universal, yet the willingness to undertake the actions that build it is rare. We might dedicate 20 minutes to selecting a movie, but we hesitate to invest the same amount of time in developing the mental resilience that could fundamentally alter our lives. Your mind is in a constant state of flux, either growing stronger or weaker with each passing day. There is no middle ground. Every challenge you sidestep weakens you. Every difficult conversation you engage and strengthens you. This choice is perpetually yours to make. Chapter 1. Your mind's current operating system. Consider your mental software. You're currently operating on either a reactive or a responsive system. Reactive minds are frequently hijacked by their emotions. Responsive minds, in contrast, acknowledge those same emotions but maintain executive control. The person who fires off an angry email only to regret it later is running a reactive operating system. The individual who pauses and takes a breath before addressing criticism is running a responsive one. The principle of neuroplasticity reveals that your brain physically reorganizes itself according to your repeated actions. Each time you react with raw emotion, you reinforce the neural pathways for reactivity. Conversely, every time you pause to respond with intention, you fortify the pathways for responsiveness. Think of your mind as a garden and your thoughts as the seeds. You can sow seeds of chaos or you can sow seeds of control. Whatever you choose to water is what will grow. We often afford our electronic devices more care than our own minds, at least charging our phones daily. Consider when you last made a conscious effort to upgrade your own mental operating system. To diagnose your current state, simply observe your reactions versus your responses for the next week. Do not pass judgment, just notice the pattern. You cannot improve what you do not first acknowledge. This awareness alone is the first step in rewiring your brain. Chapter 2. Fear Inoculation Protocols. Training for mental strength is analogous to an intense workout for your emotions. It can be painful, but the results are compellingly addictive. The most effective protocol involves systematically exposing yourself to controlled doses of discomfort instead of avoiding it. This process builds an immunity to life's challenges. Begin with absurdly small steps. Endure a cold shower for 30 seconds. Initiate one uncomfortable conversation each day. Make a single decision without seeking multiple external opinions. Your mind will instinctively resist these actions. This resistance is a positive sign, for it indicates growth. A profound realization occurs through this practice. Any fear you confront voluntarily loses its power to control you involuntarily. You are effectively programming courage directly into your nervous system. It is a common error to believe that brave people are fearless. They are simply more adept at fear management. They have conditioned their minds to function effectively in the presence of fear, not in its absence. Many of us project an image of toughness until we face disagreement online. Observe what unfolds when you begin to seek out respectful dissent and stop evading difficult feedback. Your fear of conflict will morph into a curiosity for different perspectives. Your assignment is to select one minor discomfort and confront it daily for an entire week. Witness how your confidence begins to compound. Chapter 3. Cognitive Armor Construction. It is time to construct your mental firewall. The objective is to make your core beliefs impervious to criticism that offers no value. Envision your mind as a castle whose gates are presently unguarded, allowing anyone to enter and disturb your peace. We aim to build walls that grant access only to that which is useful. The construction process begins with identifying your core values, not the ones that sound appealing, but the ones you genuinely uphold, even when it is inconvenient. Next, compile evidence that demonstrates your commitment to these values. Finally, establish protocols for responding to attacks on these values. When criticism is directed at you, your cognitive armor should pose three critical questions. Is the source of this feedback qualified to provide it? Is there a kernel of truth within it that I can use for my own growth? Does this feedback align with my core values? If the answer to these questions is consistently no, the criticism will be deflected harmlessly. True confidence does not announce itself loudly. It whispers, yet its presence is felt by everyone. When you cease to defend against every perceived attack and stop feeling the need to explain yourself, you project an aura of unshakable stability. The paradox is that the less you crave external validation, the more you will receive it. The less you feel compelled to defend your worth, the more self-evident it becomes to others. Begin building your armor by writing down your 5 most non-negotiable values. Then, gather proof of how you live by them. This will become a foundation that no one can shake. Chapter 4. Pressure Alchemy. This is the art of transforming stress into a source of power. While others buckle under pressure, you will learn to derive strength from it. The secret lies in your perception. Pressure is the same force that creates both dust and diamonds. Your framing of the event is the only variable that matters. When confronted with stress, your brain can enter either threat mode or challenge mode. Threat mode triggers a shutdown response. Challenge mode ignites your potential. The external situation remains the same. Your interpretation dictates the outcome. Having a plan is easy until you are met with unexpected adversity. Mentally strong individuals have a plan specifically for that moment of impact. They have predetermined that setbacks are sources of data, not signs of disaster. The formula for this alchemy is straightforward. Pressure combined with preparation results in performance. Pressure without preparation leads to panic. The crucial difference lies in how well prepared your mind is to manage intensity. What truly distinguishes the strong from the struggling is their perspective on problems. Resilient people collect challenges, understanding that each one conquered becomes another tool in their arsenal. The next time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself these questions. In what way is this situation fortifying me? What specific skill is this experience teaching me? How will successfully navigating this challenge benefit me in the future? Observe how pressure can be transmuted into a sense of excitement. Chapter 5. Strategic Apathy Deployment. Mastery in mental strength involves learning what not to care about. Your emotional energy is a finite resource. If you expend it on everything, you will have none left for what truly counts. By deploying strategically, you unlock immense power for your actual priorities. A selective caring matrix can be transformative. For matters of high importance and high control, engage fully. For matters of high importance but low control, practice acceptance and adaptation. For matters of low importance, regardless of your level of control, apply strategic indifference. Most people exhaust themselves by assigning equal emotional weight to trivialities, such as a colleague's opinion of their lunch and significant life goals. This is a primary source of their fatigue and ineffectiveness. Strategic apathy is not about being callous. It is about being precise. It is the art of caring profoundly about the right things by consciously choosing not to care about the wrong ones. We may fear difficult conversations, yet have no issue consuming entertainment centered on dark themes, revealing how misaligned our emotional priorities often are. Institute a daily practice. Before reacting to any event, ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Do I have any control over this outcome? Is this relevant to my goals? If the answers are no, deploy strategic apathy and watch your available mental energy soar. Chapter 6. Decision Fatigue Immunity. Every choice you make consumes a portion of your mental energy, unless you adopt the practice of pre-deciding. Highly successful individuals are not necessarily more decisive. They are more systematic. They have already made many of tomorrow's decisions today. By automating routine choices, they can serve their mental reserves for what is truly important. A useful framework is to pre-decide and automate daily routines. Major life choices should be considered carefully against established criteria. For everything else, rely on default options that are good enough. The paradox of choice is a well-documented phenomenon. An excess of options leads to paralysis, while too few can cause frustration. The optimal state is having clear criteria that render most choices automatic. It is curious that we label our own repetitive worrying as overthinking, yet we call the same process strategic planning when it is done by successful people. The key difference is that successful individuals think once, make a decision, and then move forward. Those who worry revisit the same choice endlessly. People will spend a great deal on therapy, but refuse to invest 10 minutes a day in mental conditioning. However, pre-deciding your responses to common situations can eliminate a vast majority of daily mental stress. Establish your decision rules this week. Determine your wake-up time, your breakfast, your attire, and your standard response to interruptions. Automate the minor details so you can dominate the major ones. Chapter 7. Emotional callousing. It is time to develop the kind of psychological scar tissue that renders you unbreakable. Emotional callousing operates on the same principle as physical callousing. Just as repeated friction on the skin creates a protective layer, repeated exposure to emotional discomfort builds resilience. Each time you handle criticism effectively, your ability to manage it in the future improves. The protocol for this involves a counterintuitive approach called vulnerability stacking. Instead of shying away from situations where you might face judgment, you systematically seek them out in controlled measures. You build immunity by taking small, manageable doses of what you fear. Begin with low-stakes vulnerability. Share a mildly unpopular opinion within a trusted group. Make a request that might be met with rejection. Intentionally place yourself in scenarios where universal approval is unlikely. Over time, a significant shift occurs. Criticism begins to feel less like a personal attack and more like a set of data. Rejection feels less like failure and more like a course correction. Conflict feels less like a threat and more like an exchange of information. Everyone wants the rewards of being a protagonist until it is time to face the protagonist's challenges. Main characters develop thick skin because they have weathered numerous trials. The beautiful paradox is this: the more at ease you become with discomfort, the more comfortable your entire life will feel. You will no longer avoid opportunities for growth because they will have lost their power to intimidate you. This is the beginning of true freedom. Chapter 8. Reality Negotiation. Every situation contains negotiable elements. While the raw facts are fixed, your relationship to those facts is malleable. The master skill is to learn how to reframe any circumstance to your advantage while others remain imprisoned by their initial interpretations. This is not an act of delusion, but a conscious choice to adopt the most empowering perspective available that is still grounded in truth. The situational reframe protocol involves 3 steps. First, identify the absolute, undeniable facts of the situation. Second, articulate the worst possible interpretation of these facts. Third, formulate the most empowering interpretation that is still factually accurate. For instance, if someone criticizes your work, the fact is that you receive negative feedback. The worst interpretation is that you are incompetent. An empowering interpretation is that you have just been given specific information on how to improve. Anxiety is often your brain's signal that it feels unprepared for a situation. The solution is to get prepared. Reframe anxiety from a signal to stop into a checklist for preparation. The fundamental difference between victims and victors lies in their perspective. Victims ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Victors ask, "Why is this happening for me?" The situation is identical. The relationship to it is profoundly different. Practice reality negotiation daily. Every challenge transforms into an opportunity for strength building. Every setback becomes a source of valuable data. Every piece of criticism becomes a free consultation. You become unshakable because your core is insulated from external events. Chapter 9. Anti-Fragile Thinking. This is the stage where we move beyond mere resilience. The goal is not just to bounce back from shocks, but to become stronger because of them. Anti-fragile systems do not simply withstand stress, they thrive on it. Your muscles grow in response to resistance. Your immune system is fortified through exposure to pathogens. Your mind can be trained to operate in precisely the same manner. The anti-fragile mindset shift recontextualizes negative events. Every piece of criticism is reframed as free market research. Every failure is reframed as an expensive but valuable lesson. Every setback is reframed as evidence that you're pushing your own boundaries. When someone criticizes your work, your ideas, or your character, you can learn to thank them. Thank them for revealing exactly where you need to fortify your arguments, clarify your message, or cultivate personal growth. Mental strength is a muscle, and every repetition makes you more formidable in challenging environments. Begin your anti-fragile training immediately. Actively seek out feedback that challenges you. Engage with opinions that contradict your own. Pursue problems that force you to expand your capabilities. You will soon find yourself becoming stronger than anything that attempts to break you. Chapter 10. Confident Projection. Confidence that is earned through adversity is distinct from arrogance. When you have cultivated genuine strength, it becomes apparent without you needing to utter a word. True intimidation stems from competence, not from aggression. People are not awed by loud individuals. They are impressed by composed individuals who possess a clear and quiet certainty. Your very presence communicates volumes before you speak. It is evident in the way you carry yourself when criticized, how you respond when challenged, and how you behave when others are in a state of panic. The body language of mental strength is subtle yet powerful. It is seen in relaxed shoulders that do not tense under pressure, steady eye contact during difficult conversations, and a vocal tone that does not escalate when provoked. What people genuinely find intimidating is not your anger, but your calm. It is not your reactions, but your thoughtful responses. It is not your volume, but your certainty. People respect that which they cannot break. When you cease to be reactive, defensive, and in need of constant self-justification, others will naturally defer to your strength. Practice projecting this confidence by embodying the strength you have built. Stand like someone who has overcome challenges. Speak like someone who has considered their words carefully. Move like someone who belongs in any room they enter. Your strength will become undeniable because it is authentic. The elements of mental strength we have discussed are not merely additive, they are multiplicative. Each component amplifies the others. When you combine fear inoculation with cognitive armor, pressure alchemy with strategic apathy, and emotional callousing with reality negotiation, you do not simply become mentally strong. You become formidable. When these principles converge, challenges will no longer overwhelm you because you have trained for them. Criticism will no longer shake you because your cognitive armor is in place. Pressure will no longer break you because you have learned to use it as fuel. This compound effect means that with each day of practice, you become exponentially more capable of handling any situation life presents. This is why people's perception of you will begin to shift. It is not because you're actively trying to intimidate them, but because your unshakable presence naturally commands respect. You will have become someone who clearly has their internal world in order. The great irony is that the stronger your mind becomes, the gentler you can afford to be. When you are secure in your ability to handle anything, you have no need to prove it. This journey begins with a single choice. It is the decision to stop avoiding discomfort and instead embrace it as a guide. It is the choice to start responding to life rather than reacting to it. It is the commitment to build a mind so resilient that it naturally inspires the respect of others. The only thing more frightening than possessing a weak mind is the knowledge that you had the power to build a strong one, but chose not to. Begin today.